Okay, hi everybody. Today we're talking about The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 4, and that's called The Foundling. And it was an amazing episode, and we're just going to jump right into it. Um, so we got like a nice little, in the setup, we got a nice little look at the Mandalorian camp. We got to see all like the little variations of their outfits that have all stemmed from obviously Boba Fett's initial entrance. Um, and then everything else from there, including the legends and stuff, has come from that. So we get some Grogu fun where the little kid from before that was talking about that was taking the creed. In this instance, is a little bit arrogant because of his skills and his father's position, which I didn't know, and I don't think anybody knew until later on in the episode. So Grogu schools Ragnar, and then shows that you only speak if you know, which Ragnar does not. And at which point Ragnar gets kidnapped by a big bird, and then we get the everybody deciding to split up. So first of all they chase it, the jetpacks run out, and then you see Bo-Katan flying after it, scouting the location, coming back and saying, right, I'm gonna lead a hunting party. We're gonna do this. Excuse me. And then Grogu stays with the armorer. Um, so when she's talking about how much the okay, so before we get to that part, so at the introduction, for me it was really cool seeing the Mandalorian camp because I found it quite like the games I used to play on like Knights of the Old Republic on Xbox One, and the bit where Grogu is challenging Ragnar is actually similar to the point where the Exile in KOTOR 2 challenges all of the people in the Mandalorian camp, and then you work your way up. It starts at fist fights and goes to swords and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Got to see Grogu and some really cool crabs, and then I did wonder, like this is before he joined school, so I was wondering, like, are they worried, like, because they only started moving when he stopped paying attention? So it's a case of like, are they scared of him, or do they think, oh god, he's gonna eat us? You know. So okay, so they kept showing us um, Ragnar, right? So I not Ragnar. They kept showing us Paz Vizsla, right? So as well, right? There's a correction to be made here. So that Paz Vizsla is played in here in The Mandalorian by a wonderful actor called Tate Fletcher. Okay, and it was in the book of Boba Fett that he was either physically acted by or voiced by John Favreau, supposedly. So there was my confusion. So yeah, so basically they kept showing Paz Vizsla, and I was wondering if that was just because of his station next to the armorer and how much we've seen him throughout. You know what I mean? But then it became clear, obviously, later on that he was his son, so that's why he is paid more of a visual. Um, it pays off to show him a lot more. And it was really funny seeing his reaction when his son lost to Grogu. He was just like, "Yeah, just don't speak unless you know." But all through the helmet, you know. So at 226, okay. Now I will point out other shows flaws. Okay, and I'll do the same here. I have like tiny nitpicks. Okay, and then at 226, when Grogu is playing with the little crabs, right? Din, like you can see Bo over there, and then so like Din's here. So like Bo for reference would be like on like Grogu's like back right, and then his dad's on the back left, right? So she's all the way over there. And then in like because of like how they've done the CGI, Din's either talking to nobody, like gesturing and talking to nobody, because there's literally nobody behind Grogu, so there's no one there. So he's either really interested in the fighting that's happening off to Grogu's like back right, um, and you know like how one would talk to the football and the TV. It's either like that, or there was like a slight little mess up there. Um, okay, yeah. So then I love Katie Sackhoff as well. She's doing an amazing job as Bo-Katan. Like, it just felt so maternal. Like when she's like, and it was just like her just being a friend and stuff, but it just felt like really maternal. She's like, "Don't worry, your dad's just proud of you." Um, my dad was the same way, and it was really sweet. Um, but I should have guessed how much because of how much they showed Paz that Paz Vizsla was the father. Okay, so then we get Grogu talking to the armorer, and she's talking about how much the Forge is relevant to their creed and doctrine and stuff. And it's really interesting, and talks about how they shape themselves because basically the Mandalorians love um, to be the best versions of themselves, and they see that they do that through challenge, strife, victories, and losses. So that's why they challenge strong civilizations. They never like just go and ransack weak ones. Those are the Mandalorians that have fallen off the map. You know, the Mandalorians that are true to their culture only challenge the strong. You know, so obviously you get bounty hunters and stuff, but you know that's after they've been decimated as a culture and shit. You know, so yeah, when the armor is talking to Grogu, he has a flashback due to all the banging and stuff. I would argue that there are some points in the series where like a flashback would have been more appropriate, but she's talking about at the time how adversity can like shape you, you know, and make you stronger. And that was a time where he was very vulnerable and there was a lot happening around him. And I get it. I get it. It does line up. It does line up. I would just say that if I was going to do that, I would argue that I would have like a little bit more of it throughout, you know. But then we see some Jedi's defending Grogu on his way through the temple, and then he gets handed to Kelleran Beck, who's played by Ahmed Best, who was originally Jar Jar Binks. Now, everybody's got their feelings on Jar Jar, and their feelings on him are that way because Ahmed Best did such a fantastic job. Do you know what I mean? If he did a bad job, that's what we'd be talking about. But that's not what we're talking about. Everybody was talking about how like frustrating or annoying Jar Jar was to them. Do you know what I mean? Because he did a good job. And then here we get to see him doing another good job as Kelleran Beck. And oh my god, they should have just handed him a Jedi role straight away, shouldn't they? Jesus Christ. He did so good. And I really like seeing it. I will say he is got to be like phenomenally big or at least tall because when he got those lightsabers, right, and the people were using it downstairs or upstairs, depending on where the lift was going, um, they were like 36s, maybe 32s, but looking like 36s, right? And then he picks them up and then they look like sometimes like 28s, like 32-inch 28s, you know? And then other times they look longer. So I don't know. But there's times when he was like spinning around and then it looked like they were like shorter than they were before. I don't know. Um, but he did a really good job. It was tense, it was thrilling, and I had a really good time watching him. Also, I love little Grogu's walk when he's walking with the armorer on the way to the forge and stuff. Then we get the hunting party, right? And then we see Bo really taking to her leadership skills again, and not just because of who she is. I think it's because of like she had the initiative of going off where everybody else. Not to say like, I think it might have just been it might have just been all dudes, but they might have just been the ones like that we saw. But like they were just like go. She had the foresight to go. I'm going to get in something that has a lot more fuel and can go a lot faster. So she was given leadership and she took to it really well. Like I said before, there was a point where she was like, right, well, we're not using our jetpacks because it's going to alert the thing that we're trying to hunt to what we're trying to get to. So let's use stealth. Let's go the right way about it. And it was nice. So she asked about the helmet and how do you eat around everybody, and then Din says you don't. You get your food and you go off and find somewhere you can eat in peace with your helmet off. And then as she's about to walk off, Paz Vizsla says, "You get the honor of the fire because you're the leader of the hunting party," which is really nice. Do you know what I mean? Especially like all of the other stuff is washed away. Do you know what I mean? Everything is washed away because she has the creed again. Even if he has like something personal that he may or may not be holding on to, because she's lived so many years in her own way, all of that's washed away. They're brothers and sisters. They're all of the same creed. They're all Mandalorians and they're all there for each other, like through thick and thin, you know. And here we are, right, right in the thick of it. So, um, yeah. So then the 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 pterodactyl things flying around as they're climbing around up. It comes back, and then you see Paz Vizsla making rookie moves. And we get some really cute little baby birds and stuff, and then he gets got as well, and then Paz and Ragnar are taken away, and they've all got a jetpack after it. Um, and there's some really cool action in it. There's some really good action. It was a really short episode this week, but phenomenal nonetheless. And here we are halfway through the season, and I just cannot wait to see what's coming. I genuinely can't. Um, I was wondering with episode around, I think it was 2, like who's going to be riding the mythosaur, because it was foreshadowed before. Now they're beating us over the head with it. Bo-Katan is definitely going to be getting, not even getting me. She's going to be riding them and taming the mythosaur like the first Mandalore, and then hopefully going to be off with everybody on Mandalore. You know, like bring on all the remnants of the bounty hunters of the galaxy, or like the Mandalorians that are bounty hunters, because they've had to do that before. I mean, it's one of the extra missions on Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the original Xbox is that when you get Canderous or Ordo to your team, that's when Canderous, Ordo, also Canderous. Either way, it's Canderous, and you get him to your team, and then you get other Mandalorians to come back to the camp. So yeah, but the thing is somebody's tweet the other day was like brought up a good point. Is that even if we see Mandalorians flourishing right now, and even if we see Jedi's now and stuff like that, like we also have to worry about like the First Order and things like that. So, hopefully these guys can flourish separately and not have to worry about that. But like on the counter of that though, like I understand, like because like the Empire, if the Empire was there, you'd be like, okay, well, they say it's destroyed, but because of like it had 30 years to spread its roots. Do you know what I mean? So like that's whole lifetimes for some people. So I understand like not all of the Jedi is instantly coming out of the woodwork and saying, right, who's starting a new religion, guys? Let's new Jedi Order. Do you know what I mean? And then the First Order comes and well, death again. I understand the hesitation and people wanting to be hermits and just worry about the community that they're in and things like that. So there is like some like logic you got to worry about, especially as well because Yoda was like to Luke like you're the last Jedi and stuff, and then but they kind of changed that by episode 9 by saying I'm not the last Jedi, and Rey's like I'm all the Jedi though. But that again can just be like a misinformation thing, you know. And then that could change, I guess. Like when she learns that there's more, like the meaning of that could change. You know, like I'm all of the good qualities of all the Jedi, I guess. Like not that sounds arrogant, but I don't know. I don't know. Trying to shoehorn it in, but yeah. So there are some issues, you know, but there are ways around it, I guess. But like I said, I would 100% just because the Empire is defeated, like the figurehead, a whole chunk of the galaxy went along with it. A whole chunk of the galaxy they said, these guys are enemies. we don't care if they've got go nuts, you know? So yeah, that's not an issue for me really. Maybe like the wording of some of the stuff in the movies. Again, like Rey, like I'm all the Jedi. But she doesn't know any better, you know. But she's not the only one. So anyway. So Bo gets a new bit of armor. I forget what she called it. It began with a P. I think it was P or an R. Anyway, so she gets that, and then it's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. I'm gonna put that in after. I'm gonna check it and put it in. So she gets one of those, and then one of them is a Night Owl, which she already has, and then the other one is the Mythosaur, which is what she's gonna be getting. She says to the armorer, like, I actually saw one, and she's like, did you? And she's like, yeah, I saw it. So now she's gonna prove to everybody she saw it. The only thing is, you're either gonna have to bring everybody to the Mythosaur that you've tamed, or get the thing off planet, which you're not going to want to do, especially because it's a sea creature. Well, assume it is anyway. Or it could be like go on land as well. I don't know. I have to check on that. Okay, so as all in all, okay. Another thing is, how the hell did they get them birds on that ship? Those birds are massive, and that ship is like a goddamn TARDIS. There's no way they should have got that on there. But all in all, a fantastic episode. Like Grogu was there, gave us a lot of emotion in his little face. How they're pulling that off, I don't know. It's pure magic. I'm at best with Keller and Beck. Phenomenal skills with those lightsabers. Love it. Desperately hope to see more of him. Because if anything, he'd be like 60, 70 now, depending on how old he was there. Maybe, I don't know. But at least like 50, 60, Jimmy. So anyway, really good. I'm loving Bo-Katan at the moment. I was unsure because of Mandalorian season 2 when she was just there in her little righteous self. Oh, you should just be who you want to be. Fuck you, you know. But now she's lost that like edge, and you kind of see that it was more bravado, and she is vulnerable, and she feels left out and pushed out, and the fact that she has to keep striving to get that respect, but instead now she's just living like a Mandalorian, and they're giving her that respect. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to all the other people that have just left her because she doesn't have a sword. You know, so I would say for me, 9.5. 10 out of 10, all of the above. It was really good. Grogu's little hops and his little walks. Din Djarin, like when he like does this really cool move with the pterodactyl and he like flies forward, traps the wing, and then like goes forward, and you just see like the knife is like fully in the air, just wiggling away, and he's just like, oh. Feel bad for the CGI monster, but go get it. So yeah, and apparently the episode was directed by Carl Weathers, which is fantastic. He did such a good job, like, you know, good for him. Really good for him. I did not know that he was behind the camera also in the business, so that's really cool to learn. Yeah. Okay, so let me know what you thought of the episode. I'm dying to know what you think in the comments, and let me know your score. And do you think the Mythosaur taming is going to be left until the finale? So let me know. Okay, thank you for stopping by.